So now let's talk about A Quiet Place. So again, you've seen this. I've been dying to see this. I don't know why I haven't watched it yet, but John Krasinski, love him in The Office, both of us. Probably
Yeah.
you more than me. You've watched it a couple times. Anyways, and Emily Blunt, she's great too. Mary Poppins, of course, right now. And so anyways, so John Krasinski and Emily Blunt, I guess, did a sit down for Deadline Hollywood this week. And the interviewer then asked John Krasinski, said, John, you're writing the sequel right now. Is it safe to say you won't be returning to the front of the camera? And so Krasinski then replied, it's a pretty good promise that I won't be coming back. And then he goes on to say about the sequel, I'll be honest with you, I really didn't want to do the sequel. It was never built to launch sequels, which we all knew, and the studio knew too, but also I'm a realist. I know that when you have a success like this, everyone wants to make another one. I told them to go find another filmmaker and writer, and they said, but you don't have an idea? But don't you have an idea? And he says, yeah, I have a tiny idea. So they said, okay, while we're talking to other people, keep thinking about it, right? So they basically, tricked him into writing it, and of course he is working on the sequel. So then he says, the idea for it is pretty simple. I'm writing now. I don't have it fleshed out quite yet, but the thought that occurred to me that really excited me about it was that most sequels are about the return of a hero or a villain. You take this character that people love once and you bring them back, and you have to create a new world around them, and we have the exact opposite setup. We have the world, and you can drop whoever you want into that world, and everyone feels connected to it. So and that just speaks to how great the first movie was in building that type of world. So more details of this will come, I'm sure. I don't know if we'll even see it in 2020 because he's still writing it right now. What are your, like, after seeing A Quiet Place #1, he confirmed here that he's not going to be in it. So what are your expectations then for a sequel?
I'm not sure. I mean, I think what he kind of was talking about there, it's the same world. You can kind of put anyone in it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's a pretty simple idea in the first film. It's this world he created, obviously, for those of you who have not seen it or don't know, it's essentially a world where you can't speak or make noise,
Hmm.
kind of a post-apocalyptic world where these aliens are roaming Earth, and they um, they are attracted to things by noise, so that they can't see, but they essentially like the noise is their guide. So, for example, if somebody makes noise, that's how the animal can track them, or sorry, the alien, and then they can come and kill them or whatever. And so that's kind of the world. And so in the first one, it's just a family, right? And
Hmm.
it's almost like John Krasinski sat down when he was writing. It was like, what would be the most difficult things to do if you couldn't make noise? And then that's the film.
Yeah.
And so it's really simple, and it obviously it's a great film. I really enjoyed it. I think it's brilliant. I think it's really a great world to kind of be able to manipulate. So
Mm.
I don't know what he would do, but really I think any idea sort of he can really do anything within this world. Um, and I'm not sure what route he'll take. Kind of, would he do another family? Would he do, I don't know, like a
Mm.
couple, or just really? There's so limitless options. So I think it'll be really interesting to see what he does.
Well, and I think he never confirms in this interview. It sounds like Emily Blunt won't be in it either, but he never confirms that like the kids won't be in it or something like that. Um, so we could see that, or maybe we could see again, correct me if I'm wrong, but maybe you could see a story that maybe takes place a little later with the kids grown up a
Yeah,
little bit, something like that. But yeah, I mean, really great stuff, obviously, right? Like you said, brilliant film, the first one. And, like you said, not too much of a complex idea, really. But it just was done amazingly. But honestly, I mean, let's talk about the performances. I mean, that's what really sold this film, right? I mean, John Krasinski, amazing. Emily Blunt was amazing. I think that Millicent Simmons, who was the girl, the child, like the daughter, she was great too. So I mean, the performances definitely had a key in it, and I think that's going to be important for the second one too, to see who they get, right? Who they get as the cast, especially then if John Krasinski and Emily Blunt won't be returning. Um, so yeah, I mean, I think I don't know. How do you feel about it? Do you think there should be a sequel for it?
I don't think there needs to be a sequel. But if he wants to make another, if he has a great idea, obviously I want him to be able to make that film.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think what's interesting is, um, this could almost be a completely different family. It could be completely different people, different time. I heard some ideas that maybe it would be almost like a prequel, so
Mm.
it kind of shows the lead up to
Yeah.
what happened. Because essentially in the movie, I think it's a few months in. I could be wrong, or a few years into this world.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's not as if at the beginning of the movie they show what happens, right? It's the movie starts and we're in this world. It's been this way for a while. I heard some
Okay.
ideas potentially you could see a prequel
Mm.
type film, or a film that's kind of disconnected from the first, but it's the same universe. So I think there's a lot of options.
Yeah.
But yeah, certainly I don't think a sequel was either. I don't think I don't think it's needed, and I don't think it was necessarily hinted at. Like you said, I think the movie just kind of stands on its own.